Hey folks, this is Orgonite Austin. So my previous experiment was titled beautifulskiesinApril.com. I had a conversation online with an individual about that project, and it covered a whole bunch of stuff. So this following video is just a video of me spilling the beans about everything that I would like to spill the beans about everything. Enjoy watching it. It's for entertainment purposes only. All right, check it out. This is Orgonite Austin. I love you.
Oh, look, there's somebody else.
Hey, what's going on? Welcome. How are you doing? Hi.
Good. How are you, man?
I'm good. My name is Dwayne. Tell me yours.
Hi, Dwayne. I'm Steve.
Steve.
Huff.
Cool. Glad you made it, man. Awesome.
Yeah, sorry I'm late.
No worries. No worries. I actually started 10 minutes late. The other young lady, her name is Nicole, and her and I are childhood friends.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey,
well, Steve, and I gotta share with you. I saw. What's up, Nicole?
I'm gonna take off. I'll catch up with you later.
Okay, cool. Good chatting with you.
All right. Take care.
So, Stephen, I browsed your Facebook pictures a while ago, and there's a picture of you and two other friends, a guy and a girl, and I swear that is like one of the happiest pictures I've ever seen. So,
oh, really?
It's good. Yeah, it's
I'm trying
good.
to think which one that is.
You're sitting in the background with a shit-eating grin and a black hat. So.
I don't remember, but I can imagine.
Yeah.
No, I'm so stoked to be talking to you, man. I've been watching your stuff for years, and I've just been trying to, model my stuff after yours, and I'm just so stoked on what you're doing, man. I want to replicate what you're doing out here in LA.
Cool, very cool. So, Cool. So you saw.
Go ahead.
You saw the website Zero Smog Boston?
Yeah, I did. I did. I saw that today, and then I saw that you guys were doing these meetups on Wednesday and Thursday nights. So I was like, oh, I gotta go to that.
Good.
So I just downloaded this app. Like I didn't even know about it, and here I am.
Cool. Awesome. Well, man, I'll spill the beans on everything with you.
That is so cool, man. Here, let me just show you real quick what I've been building these things for a while now, but I've kind of just gotten back into the swing of things, like this is your Black Sun Organite basically into a pyramid. Here's my little mold.
Wow.
But, yeah, man, I'm really blown away by all the stuff you've done. I tell most people that, you can't really tell everybody about this stuff, but the people who are open to it, I always be like, yeah, I follow this guy in Texas who's done incredible stuff with the weather over there.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well,
so this new thing on April, spill the beans, man. I'm ready.
Okay.
You don't have to convince me, man. So I won't tell anybody.
I hear you.
I totally, you know what I mean. I know it's real, dude, because I've played with these energies and stuff. So I get it,
Yeah. Okay. Well, this Zero Smog of Austin is really a big psychological method of getting this science to the people. Because when I first discovered how to make it rain, I started telling people. Everybody looked at me like I was crazy because that stuff is unbelievable.
Right.
But if you talk about getting rid of the smog, it's more easily accepted by the masses.
Yeah. Okay. So that's kind of the whole reason behind that title. Getting rid of the smog instead of getting rid of chemtrails per se. Yeah,
and I don't mention that word in my book and any of my presentations. I learned not to say a lot of stuff.
Yeah, those kind of like keywords that trigger the whole, conspiracy theory. Oh, conspiracy and weirdo, hippy dippy woo woo nonsense.
Yeah, it just turns a lot of people off. So.
Yeah.
You gotta lead with unicorns, shit, and rainbows and stuff.
Yeah. Oh man! And then that one video you did, the dance party video. Oh man, me and a couple friends were on the ground laughing. It was just so perfect.
Thank you for that. Thank you. That was just random. I don't know where that came from, but I did it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Hang on one second. What? Oh yeah. I do. Come on. Yeah, sure. Yeah. Sorry, man.
Okay.
Yeah, that thing was so funny, man. I love it because I can tell that you're on that level where you're just so happy and you know what I mean? You don't give a fuck what people think, and I really admire that.
God.
I'm just
Man,
gonna shut up, though.
Before I decided to go shoot that video, I was at my mom's house, and she was just really chewing me out, and I was really hurt, and I was fucking dark place in my mind.
Yeah.
And it's like, it was like a seesaw that just flipped. I was like, fuck it, I'm going to go play. So it was crazy, random, spur of the moment, and I had so much fun. I laugh my ass off every time I watch that video.
It's so good, man. I can't tell you how many times I just replayed it just for the comedic value of it. But
Oh, thank you.
let's get into the nitty gritty about this stuff, though, man. I mean, are you? Because I know that what you did was it like 2 years ago when you gridded. You gridded and then you brought that rain. And the coolest thing I thought was the fact that you showed the websites, the weather websites, and you could see this strip of weather being pulled down from the Midwest and pointing right at Austin, Texas. And it's just like there's people dancing in the streets and stuff. Like, that was awesome.
Yeah, that was profound. I was shocked.
You were shocked? You didn't expect that result? No?
No. I mean, I do experiments and holy shit rains down. I'm like, woo!
Oh man, that is so good.
So in all honesty, I don't know what to expect from April. I mean, I got an idea. It could be bigger than I expect. One thing I do know is we're going to get beautiful clouds. So come April, I am going to pull all of my tricks out of my bag and start throwing down with them. However, the only one I'm presenting is the grounder. Have you seen that video?
I believe so. Is it one of the more simple ones? Just
It's all the steel pipes arrayed around a bucket.
Oh, and are they like kind of all like pointing at different directions of the sky?
Yeah.
Is that what you're unleashing in April? Is that the
that
one?
Is one of them. That is one of them.
So it's a couple of different devices you got going. Yeah,
the grounder is the only one I'm sharing with the people because that one is the most easily accepted.
Right.
I'm not telling about the Orgonite Spiral 8, and I'm not talking about the Tensor rings because those are just way off from left field according to mainstream.
Yeah, honestly, that's one thing I never really... I mean, I kind of understand the Organite because I've been making it, and I've seen... I had some imagery, and I don't really have much, like, you know, I live in a concrete jungle out here, so there's not much open, like, land, like, earth, you know? So I was thinking, like with the whole stream, you know, I don't even know where I'd find a stream. That's not, like, just really dangerous to be around, like, full of diapers and all kinds of furniture and stuff, you know.
Let me share with you some nitty-gritty about the grounder and this stuff.
Okay.
So the pipes need to be connected to a strong negative charge. One experiment I did was 7 pipes in the mouth of a spring. Another experiment I did was 20 pipes distance away from the spring in the creek, and it was actually just below a waterfall. It was approximately 50 to 70 feet away from the spring, but there was a waterfall between the stream and the spring. The spring water, the channel of water, goes deep into the earth, and it carries that strong negative charge electrical ground. However, 70 feet away from the spring, the waterfall breaks the electrical connection. So what you're really looking for with either pipes or a steel galvanized fence post is a strong negative ground. Another example, I had some pipe devices plugged into the house electrical outlet, the ground, the circle hole, and it was an apartment complex. And then when I brought it to my house, it did not have the same effect. Reason being, the apartment complex has an electrical ground copper wire that surrounds the building and numerous ground rods staked all around. So the apartment complex has one hell of a ground. However, my house has a single 4-foot rod driven into the ground, and I suspect like 20 feet below that is limestone, which inhibits or eliminates the ground. So
Okay.
if I could do anything in the world, I would drill a hole in the ground 100 feet, drop a copper grounding rod with a copper wire, big-ass copper wire coming up.
Right. Right.
So,
And then you could just connect anything to that, right?
yeah,
And have the same effect with that instead of having to find a stream or something, right?
yeah. What you're looking for is a negative ground. Now, the grounder in the video with the bucket of water, water is not a negative ground, but
Sorry.
the bucket of water is not a negative ground, but the water does attract positive charge. So the bucket of water can only hold so much positive charge until you need to introduce fresh water to absorb more ground or more positive. So it's all about the negative charge connecting to the pipes. So let me tell you the difference between the steel galvanized fence posts. The steel galvanized fence post will clean the sky. It kind of is like a kickstart for nature's weather rain systems, as opposed to the steel galvanized fence posts will allow nature to do it on its own cycles. Okay, I theorize that. No, I'm not even going to. Pipes could bring too much rain, as opposed to steel galvanized fence posts. They will let nature fluctuate accordingly.
Okay, because I don't know. I always wonder because I'm building these things. Okay, this is my thing. I haven't been investing or anything like that. It's kind of I guess I shouldn't say it's difficult because you can get anything on eBay, but I don't know. I haven't really put the time and effort into this as I would want to. You know. Are you guys gonna take off? Mm-hmm. Okay, hang on 1 second, Dwayne.
Take time.
Okay. Yeah, just call me when you guys are done. Okay. Sorry about that, brother.
Oh, good.
So yeah, I guess long story short, and so I wonder if that, because I know that I'm getting a lot of negative ions just off the ocean, and I don't know if there's anything that I can do to affect the skies here, because I mean, it's funny because they haven't been spraying in Thursday. They haven't been spraying since Sunday. Sunday they were spraying really heavy, and then they haven't sprayed. I haven't seen one trail all week. And
same here. I've seen them try, but it's not lasting.
Yeah, and that's what I was confused about, because I would see something that I kind of figured was a contrail, you know. Because I see them, you know, and sometimes they'll be lined up, so I'm like, oh, those must be contrails, because they're a path or whatever. Because there's several airports around here, and I don't know, it's just hard to tell. I just I need to do something to prove it to myself that I have the ability to do these things, you know. And so what these two that I've been making in the last few days here, I've been watching Ken Rolla. I actually been communicating with Ken Rolla. It's been really cool. I actually found out about him through your video or your YouTube site, because you had that one video of him, and I just went nuts on his stuff, and I started Facebooking him, and he started responding to me, and I'm actually trying to get him booked at a couple different places. Have you ever heard of ECETI? It's James Gilliland's ranch. He's up at Trout Lake, Washington, and it's kind of like a UFO hotspot, and you can go up there and basically just go out there and do a sky watch at night and see all kinds of ships, basically. There's tons of activity up there. So that was a little bit of a tangent, but I'm trying to get Ken to go speak up there, because I'm going to be there all summer working, I think. I mean, I'm planning on it. I've been invited to go up there. But anyway, I've been going back and forth with him, because in his presentation, not necessarily the one in the house that I got from your site, but a different one. I think it's the one that he spoke at the Energy Solutions, or the Breakthrough Energy Conference. He said that he was just, because he was talking about, okay, well, there's chem busters and cloud busters, but that's kind of an investment for all the copper. You can actually do it, because he showed a before and after with just the pyramids, and he's adding monatomic elements to it. He's adding like azomite and like zeolites and stuff to his ormus, or to his organ, and he actually calls his stuff ormosite. He kind of like coined that term, right? Because he'll talk about scalar, that's like his thing. He talks about scalar, and that's like, I guess, the same exact thing as orgone, right? Or are they two different?
From what I believe, scalar is like a unique movement, and it could be like a disruptor of stuff, sort of like a blender in the sky,
Right.
unless you put intention into it, and then it'll do some stuff.
Okay.
Because thoughts are scalar waves.
Yes, yes. That's one of the things that he talks about. Mountains are scalar generators, right?
Scalar generators, yeah. So it is a method of moving something unless we put intention into it, and then it moves that intention.
Wow.
Yeah, there's a lot to that, and it's just like an overload. I don't know jack.
Yeah, he went around like I think he just had, they were either the like 3 of these size pyramids, or he did a couple like 2-gallon bucket things where it's like just like maybe that deep in the bucket full of the mixture and the crystals, and he said that while they were drying, all of a sudden it like switched the skies like from chemtrails to puffy white clouds, and he actually drove out around his property and found the what does he call it, like the boundary or barrier, and he went back and took a picture of it, because it's like puffy white clouds on this side, and then over here it's all chemtrails.
I remember seeing that. Yeah,
it's so awesome. So that kind of inspired me into like, well, I don't need to buy a ton of pipes and to build like a cloud buster to do this stuff. But then the whole thing being by the beach, like, I don't know, I have no clue. I just know it's important, and like I feel like I'm the only one around here who gives a shit,
I commend you for that. Yeah.
Dude. I'm a humble Padawan.
Well, let me high five. Let me share with you what insight I can give you about or some stuff.
Okay.
Have you ever heard of crystal gridding? Crystal grids.
I've heard of it, and I kind of figured that the Organite grid is like on that same level, right?
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Here's the basics behind it. You position, let's say, hold on, let me see if I got one. You position a bunch of stuff, a bunch of Organite pyramids in a geometrical fashion, whether it be a square, which would be 4 pyramids, one on every edge, and then one in the middle. Mm-hmm. And then you take a crystal and you magically connect them all together. Yeah.
Yeah, I've kind of toyed with little crystal grids, but what's that?
This is one of my little crystal grids that I made. If you can see, it's got a yeah.
Oh.
So
Do
this
you like
is,
connect them to the piece of wood or something?
let's see. Yeah, I drilled holes and then glued them in there, and then I took my little crystal and
And you did the
yeah,
and you do it like with intention, right? And you're like, okay,
yeah.
Nice.
I have an older YouTube channel. I believe it's DeWin. But if you start searching massively powerful crystal grids or crystal grids, you'll find me because I've got another channel just full of crystal grid stuff.
Okay, I'm glad you told me about that because I had no idea. I probably, and honestly, I probably watched because I broke my back 2 years ago, and I was in bed watching your page like all the way through, like all the way back to the beginning, and just soaking everything up.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm so super surprised that I'm talking to you one-on-one right now. I thought I was just gonna go into like a webinar and just hit mute and just listen, you know? I didn't know I'd get like intimate time with you, so thank you.
Absolutely. This project has been promoted very minimally, very quietly, mainly to mainstream of Austin, Texas. And now that it is a week away, I decided to go ahead and post it on Facebook.
Okay.
So.
Oh man, it's kind of exciting when you think about it. Like, think of the implications. You know what I mean? Like, if just like you said, one person every city, that would change the world right there.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I could hold up L.A. and Portland because that's where I'll be up by Portland all summer, and I would like to do something here to leave a little gift before I leave. You know.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, let me tell you how I got my steel galvanized fence posts for the grounder. I found a vent that was falling down, and obviously nobody cared about it. So I took a sawzall out to the property, and I put on this big old what are those vests with reflectors that?
So you look legit. No one's like, oh, some guy's trying to steal the fence. He's got a reflective jacket. He's legit. It's all good though. It's all for good use, man. It's all good for good purposes.
Yeah, and that day was just another one of those random things that I don't know where I mustered up the energy for it. I mean, I do, but you know what I mean? It was a lot of work. It was a lot of sweat. It was a lot of recharging the Sawzall battery. I went through like 5 blades. I mean, I cut that shit down and hauled it out in my little Honda Civic.
I remember that thing. You have like a Nissan something now, yeah? Like a Trooper or like a Pathfinder, yeah. Yeah, I noticed that actually today when I saw your picture in front of it with the new back window advertisement.
Yeah, a couple years ago when I had my piece of shit Honda, I put on the back of it scienceofbrain.com, and I don't think that's going to be accepted if it's on a piece of shit. Nor do I think the message is good.
It's true, man. Yeah, I get it because.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Yeah, when I drive my Pathfinder, I intentionally drive very respectfully and very humbly, and I will never throw a cigarette butt out the window of my car with that sign on the back. So I've learned a lot of psychology through the College of Hard Knocks.
Yeah, I feel ya.
Yeah.
Wow, man. So you came up on a bunch of galvanized steel pipes, and that's all you need, basically, right? That and maybe some copper wire. Or what's the thing? Another thing that I haven't really understood is the tensor field generators. I've been trying to just like watch the videos and try to grasp that. But I also noticed that you've been working with that dude from Twisted Sage, and I just kind of like don't know what he's about. I don't really understand the rings, you know, like that stuff.
Yeah. Okay, so
Twisted copper, right? Is there anything else to it?
No, it is just twisted copper. Hold on, let me see. Here's a big piece of copper wire that has yet to be put into use.
Right. You do that with like the drill, right? Drill and a vise. Okay.
Yeah. So copper wire has a positive and a negative end to it. Energy moves from this side to this side.
Interesting.
Now, if you bend it around into a ring, the energy starts circulating. But if you twist them together with a drill and then turn it into a ring, not only does the energy go like that, but it goes like that, constantly swirling around and pressing.
It's like a torus.
Yeah. So massive compression in the middle causes the energy to shoot that way.
Oh, okay. So is that why you spin it? Is that what you do, or is that something else?
Yeah. The spinning causes it to rotate around and all press into the middle. And if it's pressing in the middle from every side, So what these things do is just shine pure light or pure energy. Just pure white light is the way somebody described it.
Wow.
And that can do a couple of different things. One thing I've noticed is it can either illuminate what's there, be it your mentality or whatever's there or the situation, or it can like burn shit up. Because I had two profound experiences. I completed 20 tensor field generators in one day, which are these. And
that's like
I had a
Architron.
Yeah.
You had a what?
I had a mental breakdown.
Really?
Because they shine the light on the truth of the situation of what I was doing with myself, which was trying to be a hippie so that I was accepted by others so that I could get this science into the community.
Wow.
So a year later, I made another batch, completed like 20 of them in one day, hung them up in my room, and my body started detoxing like crazy. I got sick as a dog.
Whoa.
Oh.
Hey, that's like some serious tools right there. I guess I know what I'm gonna do with this stuff right here. Do you have to have a torch to weld it together? Or can you like solder it or something?
Or do
you just like, how do you connect it once you made the thing and then you make it into a little loop?
This is what I started off using. Solder.
Okay.
And then when I realized that I was going to be doing a lot of work, I purchased an acetylene torch, which has two big. So these work, but they're not permanent. The rings will break. With an acetylene torch, you actually melt the metal together, and it's not coming apart.
Oh, okay. So you're not having to use solder.
Yeah.
Okay. I took jewelry in high school, so I've kind of toyed with that stuff a little bit. That's good to know. You don't have to use solder. You could just melt the two ends.
Yeah. It's a like $400 investment for a small acetylene torch. But man, if you're going to go do it a lot,
and
if you're going to distribute them and sell them, then they need to be welded.
Yeah. I got a buddy who has an acetylene torch. I'll probably just borrow it or just do it at his house. But have you seen those water torches?
I've heard of them. They're like $2,500.
Is that how much they are? I wonder. I wasn't for sure if they were on the market. So they're still available then.
Yeah.
Those things are awesome, man. That's kind of one of the first little science experiments I started doing. Is I built a little hydrogen fuel cell and just started making that hydroxy gas stuff just to see if it was like the real deal, and it is, man. You can do some cool stuff with that. Well, making huge explosions in the garage, like setting off car alarms and stuff. Man, that stuff is no joke. Very powerful.
Wow.
I'd love to learn how to implement it into a gasoline engine and just be able to get better mileage and like cut emissions, but it's like seems like a little bit past my knowledge and ability.
maybe right now, but
maybe right now, yeah. In the future, who knows what'll happen? You know, I feel like there's huge changes going on right now, and it's just like things have just been going nuts. This year has just been off the chain crazy for me. So I feel, you know what I mean? I just like everything that's happening is just it's all in divine order, you know.
Yeah.
Just this conversation too, you know. I just feel like so
yeah.
It's funny because I almost wish they would start spraying again so I could figure out if this stuff is working.
I know.
It's like, no, you don't want that. You don't want them spraying, but I'm like, I want to find out if it's working though, you know?
Yeah. So the grounder, I mean, I've turned it on and off like 3 or 4 different times, and when I turn it off, it takes about 2 months for them to be able to spray again. And every time I turn it on, I'm the only one that knows. So this time I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna hit the switch. Might as well tell everybody.
Yeah, that was really smart of you, man. I think you're gonna reach a lot of people. I mean, I'm willing to help. I'll try to like get in touch with. I already emailed the link to like 3 different people that I know that are kind of like awake and interested. So I mean, it's not a lot, but any soul involved with this will help. I mean, how come? I mean, I don't get it. I swear, I was like, oh yeah, there's gonna be a bunch of people in there, and probably be talking to a couple people from every city. Like, people are just so sawing logs.
Yeah, I wish.
I almost want to take the blue pill sometimes. You know what I mean? Just like put me back.
I have discovered 2 blue pills in my life.
Really?
One of them is psilocybin psychedelic mushrooms, this brand called Golden Teachers.
Brand?
Yeah, specifically Golden Teachers. Golden Teachers.
And does it do it? I mean, for the trip, you're back in the Matrix, or for after the trip, like permanently?
Well, okay, there's 2 psychedelics I'm going to tell you about. The Golden Teachers, those will show you what's inside of you. So you can see what's in your head, what's in your heart, and all that kind of good stuff. The other psychedelic is called Baby Hawaiian Woodrose.
Woodrose, yeah.
Those are legal.
We were going back and forth a little bit about that. I don't know if you remember on Facebook.
Oh, yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, those will show you what's outside of you.
Interesting. And then, so the first one, how does one get a hold of that stuff? I can get, I mean, the Baby Woodrose, like, you could just order online.
Yeah.
What about number 1?
The psilocybin Golden Teachers, those are illegal.
Yeah, how do you get them? you have to grow them yourself, or what?
You go to the head shops and ask for a spore kit. Do not ask for a mushroom kit. Ask for a spore kit.
Spore kit, and the head shops have them.
Yeah.
Okay.
And be sure that you get the strand Golden Teachers.
Okay, I didn't even know that you could do that, man. That's so awesome. Is it pretty easy to grow them? You just like put it in the closet or something?
Yeah, it has gotten insanely easy with the new technology.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. That's, man.
So,
thank you. Oh man, I've been waiting to have some, do some plant medicine. My friends up at the ranch where I'm going, I think they have some DMT up there. So I was kind of thinking about doing that. I've never done it. I've done like mushrooms and acid, but I've never done like peyote or ayahuasca or DMT or any of like the really heavy ones.
From Terrence McKenna, one of his, he talked about DMT, and eventually you'll get to a point where you start seeing geometrical shapes, and when you get there, take another hit, because it means you're almost there.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, when you're there, you'll be in... Yeah, and when you're there, you'll be in a room full of entities that you have interacted with in the past. One entity...
Go ahead.
one girl told me, she said, one entity I spoke to was this ecstasy pill that I took years ago.
Whoa. Dude, so all that stuff holds consciousness? That is nuts, man. I mean, I was starting to get, like, understand about, like, nature spirits and elementals, and I know about the sylphs and stuff. I've seen that stuff, like, right before my eyes, sylphs gobbling up chemtrails. Have you seen that? I'm sure you have. I mean...
I explain that to me, because that's one thing that I've never been able to pick up.
Okay, it's like, okay, so just in the way, it totally relates to what you just said. She went into this higher realm and was talking to entities that she has experienced by taking e-pill, right? So, in that same thing, there's all the nature spirits and the elementals, and there's fire elementals, there's water elementals, and there's air elementals, and those are the sylphs. And they are basically the guardians of the sky, and all the spraying that's going on. We're not the only ones fighting it. We actually have an army. And I've seen it, like, I heard about it, and I was like, what? I'm like, are you serious? And I looked it up online, and I saw pictures, and there's some very convincing pictures online. And then after, like, in the next year, I think that was a year ago, and in the last year, I've seen it multiple times here in California, where there'll be, like, a chemtrail, and then there'll be, like, this wispy-looking cloud next to it that seems to be just, like, scattering it, kind of like, just like, basically... I don't know exactly what it's doing to it, but I feel, you know what I mean? I feel like that's real, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a little bit out there, but it makes sense to me with all the other stuff and everything. If you look into ECETI a little bit, like James Gilliland, look at his stuff. He's got some interesting stuff about kind of like he's kind of explored the higher realms, you could say, and has communicated with a lot of those, like masters and stuff.
Okay.
And there's a lot of activity at the ranch, not just with the UFOs, but also right there in the land. They have Sasquatch things going on. They have they have this one guy who used to go up there. His name's Kan-san. He's this Japanese monk who does these like full on like 20-day like meditations in a cave, in a dark meditations, and he's like super advanced with all the light body, rainbow body, all that stuff, as far as like really advanced meditations. And he would just like feel an energy come in and take a picture, and boom, there would be like a picture of Mary, you know what I mean, just in a dark field, and there's like a light, like an image of Mary or whatever master happened to be there. There was one of Kuan Yin, and there was Yeah, I'm surprised. I'm really surprised you haven't heard of this stuff, man. This is what kind of like started me on this whole path, is finding out about this guy. I'll forward you some stuff when we get off here.
Yeah, please. I'll dig.
Yeah. So back to the sylphs. I was just seeing it, and it just looks. I've seen some pictures too where they almost like look like little like stick figures in the sky made of clouds, and they're like doing their thing. So I guess in my mind, I like to think that it's real, and that we do have allies that are not necessarily, human.
Yeah.
Because I don't know how much you've looked into, like the extraterrestrial thing and all, but
They're real.
it's really happening, man. There's no denying it. So one of the things when you go up there, you can do this session they use this method of divination where they have a hint, it's like James and then a female. They have to have a male-female balance, and they use a table. It's called table tipping. And basically, it's like a pendulum on steroids where the energy can come through or the entity can come through and channel without the human, like it basically bypasses human consciousness, so it could channel without the person who's channeling actually their consciousness getting in the way and messing up the message at all, so they could just the way the table tips, it's like 1 for yes, 2 for no, and you can get like dates, times, places. You can ask any question, you know what I mean, and being that James is already kind of like connected anyway, he can, it's cool because like he'll be asking a question, and the table will tip, and like before the question's even over, even is out of his mouth completely, the answer's already coming through. You know what I mean? So it's like straight telepathic, like, you know what I mean? As soon as the thought, you know, he couldn't even finish the sentence before the answer's coming through, you know? So it kind of tells you about what star connections you have, like who your strongest connections are. Like mine was, or Inner Earth was my strongest connection, and then Orion is my second strongest connection. And so that really resonated with me because I'm a total, like, I sell essential oils for a living. I do doTERRA. I'm sure you've heard of it. Yeah,
Terra
so
Forest?
that's what I do for money, and so I'm just like really into it. I'm really into plant medicine. I'm really into, you know, eating good, and just like I love getting in the dirt and just gardening and sticking my hands in the dirt. You know, that's just like happy for me. So anyway, the whole Inner Earth thing kind of resonated, and then the Orion thing really tripped me out because my whole life I've been like obsessed with that constellation, man. Every winter, I like winter because that's when it's out, you know, and it's just like, oh yeah, there it is, right? I wouldn't even know any of the other constellations. Maybe like the Big Dipper, but that was just the only one I cared about when I was a little kid and all throughout my life. Even I had a girlfriend that got me, she bought me a star. You know how you can like buy people stars like as a gift, and it's like this whole thing. You could buy a package, and that's what she did, and it was in the Orion constellation, you know. So I don't know. That just really made sense to me when they said that. I'm like, this, you know, this has got to be pretty legit, you know.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
So yeah, I'll send you some links when we're done, but please continue, man. I didn't mean to just go on a huge tangent.
Well, I had kind of a similar story. When I first discovered stones and how magical they are, I remember very clearly one thought. I was like, well, how in the world can I get one piece of every stone in the world and put it together and carry it with me? And that ended up being more impact.
Yeah, seriously. Wow.
So,
That's
there's
awesome, man.
There's definitely a divine orchestration to it all. Oh, no doubt.
Yeah, it was really interesting coming across it. Like when I first came across it, like a couple years back, it was just, you know, it's just like, it kind of like hurts your brain how simple it is, you know? It's just like, it's so simple, like, it's so simple, yet the physics are just crazy, you know? Yeah, it's pretty mind-blowing, man.
Yeah. Once we start, once we choose to work with it, once we have gotten all of our bullshit out of the way, it just happens.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, serious, that's true, man.
Yeah. I went through a long time of a lot of painful, hard lessons that just needed to be learned. One of the greatest lessons ever was self-honesty. Am I being honest with myself, or am I feeding myself bullshit? So that's
that's probably a hard lesson to learn.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
so
how are you on time? Do you gotta go, or? Okay, cool. I'll keep talking to you, man. I'm enjoying this.
All right. So when I discovered that my angels help me, and that they can like tip over a glass of water if need be, some shit like that, I made the request. I said, every time my arrogance or ego gets in the way, please embarrass me.
Nice.
That shit works.
Oh man.
Yeah.
That's good stuff.
So another request I made of my angels, I said, I want to be strong, so please kick my ass as hard as I can take it. And for a long time, I got my ass kicked, and eventually I asked, I said, well, why am I getting my ass kicked so much? They said, you asked for it. And what I really meant was kick my ass only when I need it.
You got to be really specific.
You got to be real specific. Yeah. Let me give you an example. So there's these two girls who both of them took golden teachers and decided to go on a trip together. One of them's request for the trip was, I want to see laughter, play, and happiness throughout the entire trip. Well, the girl that made that request, she cried her eyes out through the entire trip because she started going through some stuff that she needed to go through. But her friend that she was tripping with, she was having a blast. So she got what she wanted, or what she asked for. She asked to see it. What she meant was, I want to experience it.
Ah. Wow.
Yeah. You can get anything you want out of a psychedelic trip. Make the request. Some of the best requests I've ever found is, show me what I need to see.
I like that, man. I'm gonna have to order up some of those Hawaiian baby. Wait, the wood rose is outside. I probably should start with growing those shrooms, huh?
It doesn't matter.
Or I mean, those spores.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Ask them to show you what you need to see, either one of them, and it doesn't matter what you start with. Start with whatever's most accessible.
Right. I think it probably, I mean, I'm guessing that the Hawaiian would probably be less expensive, right? It's like $20 for the thing, and you just need to crush up the seeds. And I remember you sent me instructions, I just forgot.
Scrape off the husk on the outside of the seed.
Right.
I do 10 of them at a time, and that pushes it. One time I did 13, and I threw up. So I would say start off with 5, and then go from there.
Okay. So, would you recommend like spacing it out? Like,
nope.
Just do it as often as you need to until you're done.
Oh, I gotcha. Yeah, you can do it as much as you need to, as much as you want.
How many do you get when you buy? I think it's $20. How much do you get?
I think it's 50.
Okay. Wow. So you can get quite a lot out of that for $20. That's really cheap, man.
I purchased 500 of them.
Oh man, you are funny. Oh, 500. Yeah, no, I was thinking like, because the nature of my business, like, you know, I'm kind of been working around here, but I'm starting to travel. That's kind of the whole reason I'm going up to Pacific Northwest. But I have a brother who lives in Dallas, and I want to get down there and start doing business, and then make my way out to Austin. It'd be really cool to link up down there, you know. I could do some business around that area, and then we could, you know, kick it or something.
Yeah.
Experiment, you know, play.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Oh man, I almost get a little bit of anxiety thinking about psychedelics because it's just like, oh man, woo.
Yeah.
That is another world, you know.
It is. There's some nausea for the transition, but once you're over that hump, you are riding a bike.
Yeah.
It's well worth it. Yeah, I get nervous every time. Every time I get nervous.
Yeah, it's like hard not to. Like, how do you not get nervous before you do a psychedelic? You know.
I'm only nervous about the nausea because
it's
consume.
Not fun. Oh yeah. Oh man.
Yeah, I always in the beginning I always end up in my bed rolled up in covers, just warm and cozy, and then eventually when I can't stop laughing, I get out of bed.
Dude, I can't wait. I'm gonna order those tonight. Oh man. Is it yeah, does it matter? Do you have a specific like site that's better than others? I know that you probably sent it to me because it was a couple months back that we were talking about this. Yeah, if you just, I could go. I need to get up anyway.
All right, I've sent you the link on Facebook.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Nice. Organite Austin. Wow. It's so funny, like, talking to you on the video, like, instantly I felt like I've watched so many hours of your video that it feels like I already know you, you know what I mean? And you've said that you've loved me so many times, you know?
I'm sure I have.
Yeah, hundreds of times, man.
Yeah, when I got your message and you said you were coming to chat on mine, I was like, oh, fuck yeah! I was
Oh,
excited.
nice. Oh, cool. Yeah, that's why I was funny because I was with when you saw the girl I was hanging out with. She came over here with her dog. She's like, "Let's go down to the dog beach." So I went, and then I forgot the time zone. I was trying to figure out, like, how many hours is it? It's 2 hours, right?
Right now it's 9:40.
9:40, and it's 7:40 here. Yeah, so it's 2 hours. I figured it was the same in Dallas as it was in Austin. So I was like literally running back here, and then when I saw that you had sent a message, you're like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I'm late," and I was like, "Okay, cool."
Yeah, as I drive around town with that phrase on the back of my car, and it gets closer and closer to April, I just get so much more excited and even more honored to be able to do this, as opposed to in the beginning I was driving around kind of scared, but now it's like, fuck yeah, it's happening.
Yep.
Fucking happening.
And what are the skies looking like? I mean, you said they haven't been spraying there too, right? So has it just kind of been clear with like not much clouds?
That has only been this previous week because there's been some extreme weather fluctuations and a lot of rain. So this is really the only week that it has been semi-clean. However, it's not clean. We've only had 2 days this month where the sky was beautiful. So it is regularly dirty.
Okay. Yeah, I hope it would just be really cool that like they were like spray really heavy on March 31st, or if you know, wouldn't that, I mean, it would be more of a like a result, you know?
Yeah,
like more obvious.
It would be more impactful.
and then you have all. I mean, I'm sure you have some way of documenting. I mean, the creation of the website. You know, the website was created, and it says this. You know, April 1st, 2015.
It is the date that the YouTube video was posted. That is.
There you go. Perfect.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. So then that'll be forever
documented
in internet history.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Now that we're talking about this, I'm going to go ahead and make a video of that video and videotape the date that it was on there, so that I always have it.
That's a great idea, man. So what was the name? What was the other one of your other YouTube account? It was just. Is it just Dwayne?
Dwayne.
That's right. I can just put it in. That's no worries. I just use my iPad, so I'll have to wait till we're over. But that's gonna be another probably couple hours that I'll have to just geek out on your stuff. So that's like the older stuff. Then is that more like documenting like when you're first discovering all this stuff? Like, have you been documenting like from the get-go?
You're gonna see a different person in these videos. You're gonna see a different person.
Nice.
Yeah, this was before I knew about Organite.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks for sending that.
Yeah, I look at it.
This is gonna be fun.
Yeah, I'm kind of embarrassed because I look so damn goofy now that I look back on it. But that's where I was at the time. I was total spiritual hippie, and that was the truth of it at that time. And
you're not that anymore. And you're not a spiritual hippie anymore. It's so funny. Like, you'd think it would be like an opposite effect, you know?
Yeah.
If you give it this kind of stuff would turn you, because for me, this stuff has totally turned me into like a spiritual hippie.
Yeah, I know what you mean. However, my big aim is to get this into the masses, and the masses are not spiritual.
I gotcha. It's part of the agenda.
Yeah.
It's a wholesome agenda, though. So.
Yeah.
I just popped this bad boy out of the mold. This is actually the biggest one I've ever done. This is the first time I ever filled the mold like actually all the way up to the top. You know.
Wow.
Cool. It's the first one I actually made with. I used the piece because I learned from Ken. He said you can he said you can use quartz, or you can also use a selenite wand sticking straight up to have that clearing effect. So I just took a selenite wand and I sharpened it so it was more of like a, you know, like a pointed one, and then I just stuck it straight down there, so that thing is just sticking right out of the top, you know, not out of it, but you know, it means right there at the apex.
All right, let me share this with you. So the grounder is cylinder pipes.
Right.
Selenite is cylinder pipes. Feathers are cylinder pipes.
That's right, I remember.
Hair follicles are cylinder pipes. All of those work just like the pipes that I'm using.
Is that why, like, when natives can, like, grow their hair super long, they can, like, be way more just, like, tuned in, and, like, they can, like, hear their enemies, like, miles away and just get out of there and stuff?
Yeah, they're antennas that receive and transmit.
Wow.
There's a story about in Vietnam, the trackers, they had to shave their hair. And when they shaved their hair, they could not track.
Exactly.
So in Vietnam, trackers were the only ones that were allowed to have hair.
That's right, I remember that.
And Native American Indians, the chief tribe, he was the one that wore the most feathers because he was the metronome for the tribe.
Wow, that stuff goes way deeper than we ever suspected, huh? That's one thing I have, like, gained a huge like, I always felt like I respected natives, you know, but recently I've been like, man, they had shit together, and we just came in and slaughtered them.
Yeah.
That's like such a gnarly fact, like, you know, like I have Howard Zinn's book, what is it called? Do I have it up here? I think it's downstairs. It's called A People's Version of American History, or A People's History of United States of America, or something like that, or A People's History of America, and it's just basically from the people's side, you know, talks about how Columbus was a genocidal maniac and all this stuff, you know. So anyway,
Wow.
yeah, it's pretty intense. It's like you read the first couple chapters, you're like, whoa, they have in school, you know, it's all lies. Everything in the history books is just a bunch of bullshit.
Yeah, I know.
So sad, but true.
Well, in the grand scheme of things, there is an experiment with reality to see how dark we can get and then expand out from there. Right now, this physical world is as dark as it gets in the universe.
Right, so, the Kali Yuga, right? Is that this connected?
Of the what?
The Vedic Iron Age, the Kali Yuga, the Yuga cycle. One guy you should check out if you're into this type of stuff is what's his name? Australian dude. His name is dude. His name is escaping me right now. But he does astro-theology. He talks about astro-theology and how everything in, like, even like fairy tales and nursery rhymes, everything is connected to this astrological cycle thing. And Santos is his last name, Benachi Santos or something like that. Anyway, I'll send you a link to it, but he talks about how our sun and Sirius are in a binary, and this is coming from Vedic, like the Vedas, you know, supposedly, and what is his name? Dang it, it's bugging me.
UniversalTruthSchool.com.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, you're good at that. You're psychic, aren't you? The magic oracle Google. Magic hand movements. That universaltruthschool.com. Yeah, definitely. That guy, that's interesting stuff to listen to. But he says that our sun's in a binary with Sirius, And so that's the great cycle. That's like a similar cycle to, if not the same cycle as like the what do they call it? The precession of the equinoxes, where it's like a 36,000 year cycle or something like that, super long.
Yes.
And
I
so
learned about, go ahead.
No, you go.
I learned about that stuff from Greg Braden.
Greg Braden, yeah, he's good. I love his stuff.
Okay.
But yeah, so being that we're in that it's like the two stars are going like this, you know what I mean? And so when we're close in, that's like the golden age. That's when all the energy is super high, and we're living in a very high consciousness, high level of consciousness. And then we go out, and like it rounds the curve of the precession, and that's when we're right here. This is like the Iron Age, the darkest part. Like you say, we're in the darkest part right now of that experiment or whatever, and we're coming out of it, and it's only going to get better from here on out. Even though it'll take, probably tens of thousands of years to get to the apex of the golden age, but we're actually on our way out. I mean, it makes sense to me because of what's going on right now. I mean, the stuff you're doing, everything. People are waking up like so incredibly fast. I went to the Conscious Life Expo in LA here in like a couple months ago, and I was blown away at some of the stuff that I saw there, man.
Jeez. This reminds me of an Egyptian hieroglyph that's in one of the Egyptian things. Mm-hmm. The hieroglyphs depict helicopters and tanks.
I saw that one.
Yeah, that is the what they identified as the end of the world. Or we could say it is the darkest point in time. So we're
just warmongering all over.
So we have reached that.
Yeah, I'd say that the whole 3 World War things has got to be just like it, like those 3. Or I mean, if there is a third, I heard that it was like, I've been pretty deep into the conspiracy thing too, and I've heard that there's planned 3 world wars basically. But I would really like to create a reality where the third one never happens.
Well, as we plant the seeds that we're planting, like right now, they will sprout, and we'll have a forest of this stuff, which will overbear that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So
interesting. Yeah. Have you? Let me ask you this. Have you? You know what? It just escaped me again. How about pot? Do you smoke pot and stuff?
I'm on probation right now, so I can't.
You're on probation? Oh, man. I've been there, dude. Not fun. They screw you. Probation's really tough, dude. They're designed to fuck you over, Probation is designed to get people back into the system,
Yeah.
But I'm glad that
let's straighten up and really follow the rules. Then you'll make it through. This is my second time on probation, and ironically enough, I needed this discipline because it is time for me to get serious about business, and I would not be serious about business if I were smoking pot and if I didn't have this extra $300 a month bill. So. And also, it got me to stop drinking. So
that's good.
Yeah, probation has been a lifesaver this time.
Yeah, Austin's a total party town, huh?
Yeah.
So here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't want to pry or anything, but probation, is it like alcohol related, like drunk in public, or?
Let's go way back to my first time on probation.
Okay.
The cops raided my house because I was growing mushrooms. I was the biggest supplier in Austin at that time. I had 2 closets full growing mushrooms. I was producing 3 pounds a month.
Wow.
And they were all golden teachers.
Were you into fish and stuff?
In the what?
Into fish?
No.
No? Okay. Not that type of hippie.
Yeah. So that was interesting. And this time, this is crazy, ironic, crazy. I'm gonna go get a cup of coffee because.
Yeah, go for it. Do you gotta do, man.
All right.
Sorry. Oh, man. Dang it. Okay, so this just happened. This just fell off my thing, and the tip broke off. Should I just leave it like that, or should I try to repair it?
Well, hold
A
on.
little
What?
selenite sticking out.
Fuck! That's so.
I know, right? It just felt like right now I was trying to grab some water.
That's gotta stay, man. That's gotta stay.
It's gotta stay like this?
Yes.
It kind of looks cool like that, huh?
It does. It looks like you made it like that, dude.
It's
Got
like the Luxor.
Yeah, I say you keep that, dude.
All right.
That is like divine intervention, some shit like that.
Yeah, I was just gonna say it was a divine tumble to the ground. I'll keep them closer to the ground so it doesn't further damage it.
Oh, that is so cool. Well, I guess you found one method of getting that done.
Yeah, right. I guess so. I'm guessing that having that little cap on it is not going to mess it up because I know the quartz being squeezed has an effect, the piezoelectricity or electric. But does it do the same with selenite?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
So yeah, you were saying.
Okay, cool. So long story. All right.
Okay.
So I don't know, 5 or 6 years ago, my brother introduced me to the DVD or the video "What in the World Are They Spraying?"
Right.
That was my introduction to chemtrails,
Okay.
and that I started digging into it. That led me to so many things: fluoride, Organite, cloudbuster. Well, actually, it was chemtrails, fluoride, cloudbuster, and then Organite.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the procession of my learnings when my brother introduced me to that. However, somewhere in that time, when I was really pissed off about fluoride, well, this was not intended. I went downtown to go get drunk and party. I parked my car downtown right in front of the City of Austin water utility vehicles, and I didn't know that. And I crawled in the back seat, started drinking, and to my left was a City of Austin water utility vehicle, and to the right was a City of Austin water utility vehicle. And I had just got done learning about fluoride, so I was already pissed.
Oh, man.
So I proceeded to get drunk in the back of my car, and I got more and more pissed off every time I drank, and I just kept getting, because they're on both sides, and that's all I can see and think is those fuckers that put fluoride in the water, and I'm getting drunk, and I'm getting even more pissed. So eventually,
we'll do that.
yeah. So eventually, I got drunk enough to decide to slash their tires. So
were you on video?
What's that?
Were you on video?
No. Yeah. So I got out of my car and I slashed 14. Or was it 13 tires? They all were on City of Austin vehicles. I carved the word Organite into 3 of the vehicles, and I left Organite on a couple of the vehicles. So there I am vandalizing and putting the name Organite with the vandalism, right? So I realized that I had put a really bad stain on the name of Organite, and I had to fix it. And because I slashed those tires and got arrested, I started Orgonite Austin. And because of the fluoride, we now have Orgonite Austin. And now we have my book, and now we have this website that I'm doing. And if I didn't
having this conversation.
Yeah.
Wow.
If I did not get arrested that night for that vandalism, I would not have started what I have started.
Wow, man. So that was in divine order just as well.
Yep.
Man, that is a really cool story.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it works. And every time I see such magical orchestration of life, I tell my angels, I tell God, you're fucking crazy, and I love you. It's crazy.
Oh man, that's a good one. I never
Yeah.
thought that anybody would ever get arrested, and then all that happened because they're angry about fluoridation, and because I'm pretty angry about it too. For a while, I was driving around with a fluoride or there's poison in your water bumper sticker from Infowars,
Yeah.
but I took it off because I didn't want to be a target, I didn't
Yeah.
want to be like profiled in any way,
Yeah. That's a big issue. It's a big deal. It's the truth. So.
hmm
So I don't preach about the problem. I promote solutions.
Solutions. That's why I like you, man.
Thank you.
Because there's a lot of shit out there about the problem. You know what I mean? If you want to look up the problem, it's all over the place. But there's not a lot of people actually providing solutions, and that's why I'm really resonating with you and with Ken Rolla.
Cool. Yeah, there was one point where I had a lot of chemtrail videos, and I took them all down.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's maybe one or two. Oh yeah, I've learned a lot.
Wow. Have you ever had any? I remember what I was going to ask earlier. Have you ever had any direct experience with the Organite and people's moods and stuff, and like quenching arguments and calming people down and stuff? Like maybe in your household, your family, or friends.
Let me tell you the two most profound stories. I'm driving my car. I've got my necklace and a bunch of Orgonite in the car, and there was a car show in town for old cars.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm driving. I pulled up to the stoplight, and the guy in front of me, I saw him do this. The light changed, and he just kind of sat there, and I just watched, and eventually he did this and drove off. Not 2 minutes later, same thing happened to a guy on the right. And another time, that very day, this guy in this car, it was a badass car, old car, he was right next to me, and when I pulled up, he held the brakes and stepped on the gas and proceeded to peel out, and I could tell he was pissed off. And then when traffic started going, he fucking bolted. So what happened there, the two people that passed out, I believe that is a situation where a dark entity had to leave because they couldn't be in the space. On the occasion where the guy peeled out, I believe that dark entity was able to hold on through the energy of Organite. And the guy, yeah.
He just wanted to get the hell out because he couldn't leave his body.
Yeah.
Man, that is fucking crazy.
Here's another crazy story. I had just a shitload of Organite in my car, and I parked right next to this this police car. It was dark blue, black windows, unidentified, but you can tell that it was a cop. And as soon as I pulled up, he turned on his lights and fucking took off. I believe that was not a cop, but same situation. So, so those are some extraordinary experiences. Here's a different one, a little more subtle and real. This individual was at work, and his buddy had one of my necklaces, and this individual was allowed to wear it for the entire day at work, but his buddy had to leave 20 minutes early, so he took off the necklace and stayed the rest of the time at work, and the rest of the time at work he realized that he was frantic, rushing, chaotic. And he was like, why am I rushing? There's no reason to rush. And then he realized the necklace was gone.
Whoa, man. That's nuts.
Yeah. A number of times what I have done is I'll present one of my pieces of Organite to somebody, and they'll have a spouse, and I'll tell them, don't tell your spouse you have this, and put it under the mattress and see how they sleep. And every time I hear back from them, the spouse slept better, and they didn't know about the Organite. So.
Oh yeah, that's right. I think what's his name? Ken had a couple stories like that where he just randomly put it in a house, and the kid slept super deep, and he was like super knocked out and didn't understand why.
Yeah.
I've been driving around with it in my truck, and I kind of, I don't know, I've had a few things where I thought it might have been related to that. Like I was on a freeway and I was getting off, it was at night, and I like missed my exit, so I was coming over pretty quick, passing, like, trying to get over to the exit real fast so I can get off. And there was a cop right there. I didn't even see him. He was like one of the SUV cops. And I was kind of assuming, I didn't know he was a cop, but I was kind of assuming this car was going to let me in, because they saw me coming over, but he didn't. He just kept going, and so I had to brake. And then it was weird. Like I was braking, and then he like went around me, and he kind of let me over, but then he like lit up his lights, and he was like riding alongside of me, and it looked like he was trying to pull me over, but then all of a sudden he gets behind me again, and then he goes on the loudspeaker, and he's like, "Hey, you need to plan ahead a little more. You're lucky I got a call, otherwise you'd be getting a ticket." And he takes off. And I was like, because with that kind of like little exchange we had with a cop, like I thought for sure that I'd get pulled over and he'd just be reaming me, Wow. Because it was kind of bad. It was like, it was so not good. Didn't look good on me at all. And he didn't even do anything. He just took off. So.
Wow.
I'm gonna keep driving around with it.
All we have is correlation, but when there are too many synchronicities for it to be ironic, you start,
Right.
Yeah. We can't prove it, but there's a lot of, there's a lot of things like that have happened.
Yeah.
Oh, so I used to work at this restaurant, and we just had shitty customers and shitty days, and until I decided to glue some of my necklaces to the bottom of the tables. So I planted Organite inside the restaurant, and from then on, what I perceived is everybody was way happier.
Wow.
Yeah.
Man, that's so interesting how that works, and how, like, it's just crazy. The Organite thing has just really, ever since I started playing with the Organite, it's just really, I don't know, I don't even know how to explain it. It's like made my life become like almost like a fantasy, you know what I mean? Like there's just so much weird shit going on that I'm like, is this real? Like, is this real life?
Well, my opinion, it's always been going on, but now we can see it.
So that's part of what the Organite does. It helps us to just become aware of it, basically.
Well, we are naturally supposed to be in that state and connected. However, electricity has really fucked up our feelers, our perceptions, and Organite allows us to come back into wholesomeness, sort of to speak, and then we are able to see again. So that's my perspective on it.
Yeah, I like it. Probably gonna have to piece this little selenite together because it's like all shattered. Selenite is so fragile.
Yeah. Oh, I did an experiment with selenite in the bucket of water instead of the copper pipes, and I shit you not, that is really fucking powerful.
Really?
It is really fucking powerful.
Does it have to be a running bucket of water, or can it just be a bucket of water?
It does have to be running because the water can only hold so much dirty energy, so you got to replenish it.
Okay. So if I just kind of do like you did and just have the hose just barely on.
Yeah. It can be a coffee cup, but selenite is water soluble. Selenite will dissolve easily, quickly, so you can't really use it. But it's a great experiment. It works.
Cool.
No.
Now I just got to find some chemtrails to clear. It's so ironic, It's like Sunday, and it was so funny because I was doing a business training. I've been doing this doTERRA business leadership retreat all week, and so we had all our team together on Sunday night to tell them all the stuff that we learned at leadership. And I'm looking out the windows it was like evening, at dusk, and I'm looking out the windows, and it's just like crisscross. Like, usually you don't see crisscross too much. You'll see a lot of trails, but they won't generally crisscross. But like Sunday was so thick of trails, they were crisscrossing everywhere. And I was like, dude, that's it. This week I'm dedicating like 100% to this goal or this I'm just going to focus on making this stuff and just getting it done and just put everything else on the back burner until I have enough pieces or until I have a result or something, And then I started making it on Monday. Like, I didn't make it until Monday. Like, I didn't have the first one in the mold until like late on Monday, but all day Monday as I'm making it, I'm actually been getting magnetite off the beach with the magnet, because the beach is right here, man. Here, I'll show you.
That's a brilliant way to get it.
Yeah, I mean, it's super easy. Where did I put that stuff? Well, looks like I don't know where it is, but yeah, I just have like a donut magnet basically. I need to plug this thing in, otherwise it's gonna die. Yeah, I just have this like donut magnet, and I just go chill on the beach, just rub it through the sand, and then I can just pull it off and throw it into a bag. And I've been I use the iron filings a lot, that I just get from the brake shop or whatever.
Yeah.
But I'm wondering how much that magnetite differs if I can use. I've made a few pieces that were just magnetite in plastic. I didn't have any actual like filings in there, and I'm wondering, like, I don't even know if that's effective, if it's working, because the magnetite, isn't it iron? Like, isn't it iron oxide? Or is it?
I don't know.
Because it's just that black little, I mean, you've done that before, right? Where you like rubbed a magnet through the dirt or something.
You're talking about the magnetite that looks like a little diamond shape, kind of?
It's just it's so small, you can't really tell what shape it is. It's like,
okay.
It's like sand, you know what I mean? It's black sand, basically.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's that stuff where they make that magnetic water. Like, if they'll like fill up like a bucket and then make a little cylinder in there, put their water in there, and then drink it. And supposedly that's like, like magnetic water. Like, the body's electric and the spirit is magnetic. That's what John, whatever, is that dude who melts glass and pulls gold out of it. Have you seen that?
I've heard of it. Had not seen it.
Yeah. So he gets it out of glass and magnetite, and supposedly magnetite is high in monatomic gold. So that's why when you put it around water, it does a lot of cool stuff. I haven't done it yet. Every time I get a little bit of magnetite, I'm always throwing it into the Organite mix. I need to go out there and like spend a whole day and just get a ton of it so I can make that water.
Cool.
But
well, let me share with you how magnetite's formed. Hold on.
Awesome. I think I remember. I have a theory that I tell people. I think I got it from you. How it's like the meteorites, right? Is that how it's formed?
No, magnetite is, so back in the days when oil was being formed, we're talking like dinosaur ages, the Earth's magnetic poles were really, really strong. These little bugs would eat some food, and it contained iron, and they would poop out the iron into their poop, and the iron filings in the poop aligned with the Earth's magnetism because it was so strong, and over time it petrified. So they carry. So that's how they're formed, and they carry the magnetic. The
petrified bug shit.
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah. Are you familiar with the tri-vortex water disc?
Is that one of your inventions, or is that something else that's on the market?
It is on the market. Here, where is it?
Tri-vortex water disc.
Yes, it is the tri-vortex water disc. Hold on, let me.
Is that it right there?
Yeah, that's it.
Wow, what is it?
It structures water. It costs $140, and I will not drink water unless it has sat on this thing for a while.
Just put it the bottle on top or the glass on top or whatever.
This is made from Magnetite, as well as a couple of other interesting technologies and intention as well.
Mm-hmm.
And it's fucking priceless. I will not. It goes on all of my water. It goes on all of my water, and it's at tryvortex.com.au.
I wonder if it's, being that it's made with magnetite, that it has the similar kind of effect on water that doing that whole like bucket full of magnetite in the water, or like surrounding the water with magnetite does.
You know, that's a good experiment. There's more than just magnetite in this. I think there's 3 things, and that's why they call it tri.
Right.
But yeah, magnetite's part of it, and it's worth every penny. $150. It is.
Really?
It is well worth it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one thing that I've been just like kind of stumped on. You know, like the water thing. I need to figure out how I'm gonna. I'll be fine once I go up to the Pacific Northwest, because where I'm going, they just have like the tap water is like running off the glacier. It's so good up there. And then Portland doesn't even, like the city of Portland doesn't even fluoridate their water. You know, they voted against it.
Good.
Yeah. So, but around here, it's I just don't feel really comfortable drinking anything. I mean, I drink this reverse osmosis that's been run back through the calcium balls or whatever. I'm sure you've heard of that.
Yeah.
That's what I drink, and then I do my own like intention stuff and use quartz, you know. But I don't know. I can't tell if it's really good if I'm drinking a bunch of junk. It's hard to tell, you know.
After you drink water that has been charged with a tri-vortex disc, you will know what it's like to drink living water.
That's living water, then.
Yeah.
Okay. I think that's going to be my next mission, and to collect all that magnetite and just do it. Yeah, and no matter how many hours I have to stay on the beach with the magnet, just get it, you know, just so I can do it, because
when it's time to do something, we've got the energy, and that's all we want to do.
Yep, that's so true. That's how I've been this week. I've just dropped everything else, and I've just been focused on this. That's why I think it's kind of perfect that we're talking right now.
Yeah, it's kind of cool.
Yeah, and if you gotta go, you know, let me know. I think what do you know what time it is? What time is it over there? Is it 10?
Your place is 8 o'clock. 8:20. 8:20.
Let me just send a text message real quick. Okay. So, what else can we discuss while we're here?
You know, a sponge can only hold so much, and I'm like, whoa.
Yeah. Yeah, if you want to call it, that's cool. I respect it, man. I really appreciate this whole thing.
Yeah, it has been a magical conversation. It really has. It really has. So it is an honor to talk to you.
Likewise.
All right. Well, let's call it a day, and contact me anytime.
Yeah, I will. Is this? I mean, this whole like this app and stuff is all new to me. I'm guessing is this strictly for the Wednesday and Thursday night?
Anytime I'm logged in, you can contact me.
Okay, cool.
And message me on Facebook, wherever, man. I'd be more than happy to chat with you anytime, all the time.
Cool. And, awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll probably order that wood rose and just go for it and just kind of report back, you know. Let you know how it goes.
My experience is that organic almonds will nullify the nausea.
Organic almonds. Okay, I think I remember you saying that. I'll probably have to go back and just read all the different things you put, but organic almonds. Okay, do they have to be raw or
Get the raw. That's the
get
only
raw
experience.
ones?
Yeah, that's the only experience I have is the raw organic. So I don't know if the others will work. I don't see why they wouldn't, but that's
Okay.
just my experience.
Okay, I can do that. Sounds like a very probably the cheapest trip I've ever taken.
Tell you about it. Every time I eat these, it's like 4 hours of revelations, and then followed by 4 hours of watching movies. And ironically, every movie I watch correlates to what I went through. It's fucking crazy. It's crazy.
Really? Wow. I'm gonna have to do this shit tomorrow night, man. I
Uh,
really like overnight this shit.
oh man, watch the movie The Last Samurai.
Yeah, I remember you said that. Yeah, that's a good one, man. That's a good movie. I trip out just watching that thing sober.
Dude,
It's a really good movie.
watch it on these, dude. I swear, every time I trip, I watch that movie.
Yeah.
And I always see more that I didn't see last time.
Wow.
The Last Samurai.
Yeah.
Fucking
Oh, and then real quick, you scrape the husk, crush them up, and just eat them.
uh-huh.
Okay, eat them, and then just eat them with the almonds. Probably be good.
Don't eat the almonds until you start to feel the nausea, because then
And
that'll
then-
confirm or not.
Okay.
Start off with 5. I always take 10. However, now that I've found the almonds, I might boost it up to 13.
Okay. Oh man, this is gonna be good. Yeah, because I know the plant medicines are like huge teachers. That's what I've gathered. They can just help you out. They're ready and willing, and there shouldn't be any guilt behind it. Because
Yeah.
I grew up Mormon, right? So I came out of the Christian thing where just like everything's bad and everything's Satan. You know what I mean? It's like,
I was an acolyte at church. I carried the cross down the aisle.
really? Wow.
Yeah. One of the greatest things is with the wood rose or any plant medicine is, so here it is, when we take those, we become more like them. However, give them the opportunity to experience what it's like to be human also.
Okay, so it's a mutual exchange of energy then.
Yeah.
They're getting an experience too.
Yeah.
Oh, man, my mind is fucking blown right now. Dude, you are a legend. You are a fucking legend, bro. Straight up. So, thank you very much.
Absolutely. Well, all right, man. I will talk to you.
Yeah, we will be in touch for sure, man.
All right.
Thanks very much, and have a nice week.
Good connecting with you, Stephen.
All right, likewise.
Later, man.
Take care, my friend.
You too. Bye-bye.